Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed for a lady that was making huge progress in weight loss from the beginning of us working together, to the extent that she had what most people would consider a very, very effective weight loss strategy, and that is to have 2 meals a day and to start the meal at lunchtime, first meal at lunchtime, second meal in the evening, and to make those meals as healthy as possible. Some people call that intermittent fasting, but actually as a species, it's only fairly recently, we're talking the last like 300-400 years, that meals were even a thing that you could predict the time for. For a lot of time, we had to kind of hunt and gather food whenever it was available. So this idea of like we just need meals, quite frankly, is a modern phenomenon. We're used to it because that's all most of us have ever known. But actually, the human body can live for quite long periods of time without food. And that's kind of the biological function of fat, to give you a source of energy in the same way that you probably have money in your bank account and you don't spend everything that you have, and therefore you can only spend whatever you earn that day. That would be a difficult way to live. What most people do is they get a paycheck at the end of the month, and if you're good with budgeting and your money, you have more money than you spend. And the excess money means that if an emergency comes up, you can spend that money. That's kind of the purpose of body fat, to have more energy than you need, so that if there is a period of famine or war or a drought and there's just insufficient food around, then you have enough energy on your body to survive those periods. But we live in a time of abundant food, and therefore that biological function of storing energy in body fat isn't as useful as perhaps it was when supermarkets didn't exist, for example. So this lady had a very effective strategy of 2 meals a day and healthy snacks in between that. But where she was struggling with was going to the gym and being more physically active. So you're going to hear 2 key themes in this weight loss hypnosis session. The first is the idea of focusing not on the big goal, but simply the next smaller jean size that she can't quite fit into yet. And that can be quite an appealing goal because it seems achievable, and it's achievable for 2 reasons. One, they can remember a time when they were wearing those jeans, so therefore it must have been possible for them in the past. And secondly, it's not 2 or 3 sizes smaller, it's just the next size that they just can't quite fit into yet. And therefore, if they've got 10 pairs of jeans and some of those jeans are kind of a much smaller size, then the one that's just 1 size lower and the biggest of that 1 size lower feels a more achievable target. So you can hear that. And then the second thing relates to physical activity. And they felt that if they went back to the gym having had weight put on, that they would be judged harshly for other people. And what came out from this client session is that they felt that way because that's what they'd done to other people. So this actually starts with quite a good reframe, that you're going to hear regression to a time where when they were judging people harshly, they were then feeling really encouraging and supportive of that same person. And therefore, by proxy, it's highly likely that they can imagine that other people would also be supportive when they do those things as well. So you'll hear suggestions of going to the gym perhaps 2 or 3 times a week, but also walking more. And actually walking is one of the most effective ways of burning fat because it puts very little pressure on the knees, and it's one of those things that gets your heart rate up a little bit, but not so much that it trains the body to burn sugar. The fat burning zone, typically, depending on your age, is normally between about 95 beats per minute and about 110, 115. That's a brisk walk. That is not sprinting. That is not going on a treadmill at a high gradient. That's just a reasonably fast walk, but not getting out of breath, just picking up your pace a bit. That's more than enough to burn fat. And the good thing about the human body is that we're conditioned to be able to walk very long distances, because for most of our civilization, motorized transport didn't exist. Therefore, walking long distances, humans can do better than most other things. So this ability to walk, to burn fat, and to eat healthy when you are eating is a very, very effective weight loss strategy, particularly if you link it into a very achievable goal, which is getting into those genes that are just slightly too small. I think if you're looking to lose weight, you'll get a lot from this hypnosis session. Two things to say. One, it was created for a specific individual. Not all of the suggestions are going to relate to you. Please bear that in mind. And secondly, this was recorded while I was traveling, so I don't have access to my studio quality microphone. The quality isn't as good as it normally is, so bear that in mind. And if you are looking for something a bit more bespoke to you and your individual needs, there will be a link in the show notes, or check out my website, adamcox.co.uk. You can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. And then rather than just listening to the sessions I've done for other people, you can actually have a session specifically for you and your own goals and your own needs, and that might be useful for you. But for now, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close, and as they close, feel a wonderful sense of calm and relaxation, a sense that you're drifting off to a place where you can deeply, deeply relax. That's it. Deeper and deeper relaxed. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense that you're about to let go. Let go of any tension, stress, and worries, and activate powerful, resourceful states within you. When you breathe in 1% deeper than you did before. And as you exhale, allow that outward breath to be a tiny bit longer, emptying your lungs, and continue that pattern, that loop. So you're breathing in deeper and exhaling for longer. And the deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. And the deeper relaxed you become, the more your mind takes you to a place that activates powerful resources in your subconscious mind. So much of what you know and have learned from the past doesn't exist consciously. Trying to explain to someone how you're able to tie your shoelaces perfectly every time. Try to explain how you could drive a car without thinking where you're going, where you can walk or do complex movements without falling over, shows the power of your subconscious mind. You blink only when you need to blink. You breathe deeper when you need to breathe deeper. It requires no conscious effort to make your heart beat, and yet all of these things happen exactly as they should. So as you breathe deeper in and breathe deeper out, just feel that you're activating that part of your mind. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine walking by the River Thames, walking on the side of that river, perhaps towards Battersea Park. And maybe you can see some of the buildings of Chelsea on the other side of the river. Just imagine that skyline. As you breathe in and breathe out, just feel that you're walking by the river on a sunny day. Maybe seeing people jogging also by the side of the river. Maybe seeing the occasional boat there on the Thames. And I want you to make your way towards Battersea Park. I want you to make your way towards the impressive pagoda with those oriental designs so close to the river. And I want you to, as you stare at the pagoda, to imagine that you are levitating, floating up from the ground towards the pagoda. And just imagine you're levitating in between the base of the pagoda and the roof. Feel that floating sensation as you're able to look at the park or look at the river, look at the skyline of London, and the deeper you breathe in and the deeper you breathe out, the more relaxed you become, and just feel that you're drifting into a pleasant place. As I count down from 5 to 1, with each descending number, you're going to feel deeper and deeper relaxed, going inwards into a dreamlike sleep. 5, just releasing all the tension in your eyes and face. 4, releasing any tension in your neck and your shoulders. 3, just releasing all the tension down your arms all the way to the tips of your fingers, so your arms, while you're levitating there, just feel so limp and loose and relaxed. 2, just imagine all of your internal organs relaxing at exactly the same time. And then 1, imagine that relaxation going into your gut all the way down into your toes. Now with your eyes closed, still levitating there in the middle of that pagoda, as you allow your mind to drift off to a dreamlike sleep. I want you to imagine going back in time to moments of judgment, perhaps of people that you know, at times when maybe they've gained weight. But I want you to replay these thoughts in your mind from a new perspective, an encouraging perspective. You are now making a judgment that they can lose weight if they choose to. If you see someone in the gym having gained weight, feel how it would feel to make the judgment that they're doing the right thing, that they have that courage, determination and dedication to get their body back in shape. Or maybe you can recall a friend that gained weight after a pregnancy. Go back in time and just imagine. The judgment isn't, I wonder if she can lose weight. The judgment now is that, of course she can lose weight. Of course she can change what she eats. Of course she can change how active she is. Of course she will lose weight. and allow your mind to go back to every memory you can recall, replacing judgments that have a premise of being static, not being able to change, to new, empowered, encouraging judgments that anyone can lose weight if they decide to. If they change what they eat, when they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are, then of course they will lose weight. And I want you to reserve your highest levels of admiration for those people going outside of their comfort zone, for those people risking the judgment of others to still do the things that would lead to the kind of future that they would desire. Feel that admiration in you. And I want you to imagine you are in your local gym. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself turn up to that gym for the very first time, perhaps in months, and feel that same level of positive evaluations. Good for her. Well done. And maybe you can see her on that very first day doing 40 minutes or so on a cross trainer, and you can't help but allow your judgments to be judgments of admiration, respect, and inspiration, knowing that it takes a lot to go back to a gym after a while is exactly the reason you could admire that behavior. I want you to imagine she doesn't just go once. Imagine seeing this woman that looks exactly like you, perhaps coming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that only increases feelings of respect, inspiration, and admiration. And imagine she does that continuous. And imagine going forwards into the future, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, and I want you to imagine seeing that version of you just wandering around, doing some shopping, but wearing 12 jeans, size 12 jeans. Just imagine seeing that version and linking the two together. That dedication and commitment to working out contributed to that reduced size of clothes. And as you see yourself wearing clothes that is only possible for that version of you that's lost weight, feel a sense of pride and happiness on their behalf, while simultaneously knowing it's also possible for you. And then return to that pagoda, still levitating, still feeling that floating sensation, as you get a wonderful sense that your mind is ready. Ready to make changes, ready to enhance the progress you're already making. Each time you enjoy a healthy meal, you feel a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that you are nourishing your body with the best quality food available. And only if you're hungry, as you eat healthy snacks between meals, you imagine yourself getting closer and closer to fitting into that next size of smaller jeans, feeling excited about your progress. Every walk you take, every step you add to your day brings you closer to your goals, making you feel stronger, more energized, and more motivated. You could imagine trying on jeans that you know are slightly too small, But the thought of wearing those jeans that are slightly too small fills you with determination, inspiring you to make choices that support your journey every day. Whenever you eat a small portion of healthy food, you feel proud of your discipline and commitment, knowing that each bite is helping you achieve your goals. Feel that you're on a journey, and as you continue your weight loss journey, you notice a surge of motivation and excitement each time you lose a dress size, propelling you forward with even greater determination. And maybe you wait to lose that one dress size, or maybe you wait for that surge of motivation. But sooner or later, you'll be going to the gym 3 times a week, as it's become part of your routine, something you look forward to as a way to strengthen and tone your body. And on those days where you miss a gym session, feel a natural desire without obligation to find an alternative time to go, or to take a walk instead, ensuring that you stay active and on track. In fact, the idea of increasing your activity level through walking and going to the gym fills you with a sense of empowerment. Locate that feeling of empowerment now, knowing that you are taking control of your health and fitness. Realize that all of this is about choices. Each time you choose a healthy food option, you imagine yourself getting closer to your goal of fitting into those jeans, feeling a growing sense of excitement and accomplishment. In fact, I want you to think about that size of jeans that is one size smaller, or maybe the same size but slightly tighter than the others of that size. Maybe you can picture the color, the brand, the design, the style, and just imagine that it won't be long until they fit easily. You're only ever a few weeks away from that slightly tighter pair of jeans. You feel inspired and motivated to continue your journey, knowing that every small step you take is bringing you closer to the body and lifestyle you desire. And any thoughts of being judged by others will only increase your determination to do more physical activities, as you know you are doing this for yourself and your well-being. In fact, the idea of embarrassment is transformed into a powerful source of motivation, driving you to push yourself further and achieve even more than you thought possible. Maybe you see your return to the gym as a reason for admiration, knowing that you are taking bold steps to improve your health and fitness, regardless of how long it's been. Every time you feel the waistband of your jeans loosening, you are reminded of your progress and feel a renewed sense of motivation to keep going. You enjoy the process of increasing your physical activity, whether it's through walking, going to the gym, or other forms of exercise, knowing that it's bringing you closer to your goals. As you focus on eating the best quality food during meal times, you feel a deep connection to your body, understanding that you are giving it exactly what it needs to thrive. Each time you step into the gym, you feel a sense of pride and accomplishment, knowing that you are taking another step toward the healthier, fitter version of yourself. You find joy in the journey, celebrating each small victory, whether it's a healthy meal, a completed workout, or simply choosing to take a walk. But now let's jump forward 1 year from now, as you imagine yourself in those smaller jeans. Think of the size of jeans that you would most want to wear, and imagine wearing them in a place perhaps where people you know that haven't seen you for a while would notice. And as you imagine yourself in those smaller jeans, you feel a powerful surge of motivation, knowing that you are capable of achieving your goals and transforming your life. As you imagine wearing those smaller jeans, realize that you didn't need to be perfect, just consistent. Those 2 healthy meals a day, increasing physical activity. It's not a question of whether or not you will wear those jeans again. The only question is, how long will it take? And you will feel that the more often you do physical activity like walks and workouts, the quicker you'll be wearing those jeans. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose, and feel like you're returning to that levitation position there in the pagoda, and feel that it's time to float back down to earth. As you float back down to Battersea Park, walk back along the river feeling like something profound has changed. The way you think about yourself, the way you think about what's possible, but more importantly, feel that you have the capability and the motivation to do what will take you to the future you desire. And as you walk back on that path by the Thames, you realize it's time to return back to the present moment. So take another deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect fully into the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, confident, optimistic, feeling that it's just a question of time before you fit into those smaller size jeans. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.